What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. For those that are new here, my name is Eric, and behind me is not my new G80 M3. This is a Toyota Supra, and it's not even mine. Let me go ahead and explain. So yes, like the title and thumbnail said, I did buy an insane spec G80 M3 xDrive, and it is right outside the shop door. I'll be showing you guys that in just one second, but first I want to explain why I have this Supra with the engine completely torn apart inside my shop. So this is a 2020 Toyota Supra with the legendary B58 engine from BMW, owned by my buddy Kai, and he recently just picked this up, and it is one of the cheapest A90 Supras in the entire country. Let me go ahead and show you guys why. So this thing is super clean. It's a beautiful black on gray spec. It is a 3.0 A90, so it has the 3-liter B58 engine, or at least it did before we completely tore it apart and took the head off that is right here on the ground. So this engine actually had an issue after Kai picked it up, where we started seeing some coolant inside the exhaust and it was blowing some white smoke. We thought it originally was the turbo, so I thought we were just going to be able to swap out the turbo real quick, and I wasn't even going to film it because that job is actually fairly easy on a Toyota Supra. But once we pulled the turbo off, we realized the coolant wasn't coming from the turbo and it was coming from inside of the engine. We did a bunch of testing and figured out that the head gasket was not blown and it was actually a crack inside of the head. We had to disassemble this, and we're now waiting for parts to be able to rebuild this entire thing with a new 2-port Supra head, and it should be good to go. So this is currently taking up the main space in the shop. So I'm going to be showing you guys the G80 M3 outside of that door, and we'll go take a look at it outside because this thing cannot move right now, but it'll be back on the road soon, and we'll make some videos about modding this thing. Kai has a ton of plans for what he's going to do to it, and I think it's going to be super sick. Let's go ahead and check out my new G80 M3. So before I open up the garage door and show you guys my new G80 M3, I first wanted to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, who's left a comment down below, who's hit that like button. I really appreciate it, and I would not be doing this and making content like this without you. So let's go ahead and open up the garage and show you guys my new G80 M3. All right, guys, I still can absolutely not believe that this is my car, but that is right. This is my 2023 G80 M3 xDrive. This thing is fully loaded with carbon bucket seats and xDrive. It is such a sick car, and I'm so excited to mod it. It actually has a few mods already, so let me go ahead and go over the build and what the previous owner has done to it so far. So starting here in the front, we actually have upgraded grills. These are the CS style carbon fiber front grills, and these are actually aftermarket front vents. These could come factory, but this car did not get the exterior carbon package, so all of the exterior carbon is aftermarket, including these grills, these vents, and this CS style front lip. And if I go ahead and hit the unlock button, you guys can see that it also has yellow DRLs. So these right here look absolutely sick. They're probably flashing a little bit for you guys, and that's just due to the frame rate on the camera, but they are solid during the day, and they look so mean with the yellow DRLs. As you guys can probably tell, this entire car is not gloss. It is actually matte or satin, and it is not a frozen paint color. Some of you guys might have thought this is a frozen white, but it's actually regular gloss alpine white with a full body paint protection film kit in satin. So the entire car is protected with paint protection film, and it gives it that super aggressive look, and you can see all of the body lines so much better with the satin wrap, and I think it looks so good. You guys might be able to tell, but this thing is actually already lowered on some H&R lowering springs, so it's sitting just right, and it actually has front and rear spacers. I'm not exactly sure the size, but they did come on the car already, and I think the fitment looks awesome. And as you guys can probably tell, this thing is absolutely blacked out. It has super dark tint. The previous owner told me he did 30% on the windshield, 20% on the fronts, and 5% in the back, and that is so dark. You guys can't tell. You can absolutely not see a single thing into the car, and I kind of love it and I kind of hate it. I'm not sure. This car does have such a sick interior that I kind of feel bad hiding it, but at the same time, I do love ripping this thing around and no one being able to see me inside. Speaking of the interior, let's go ahead and check this out. Inside is basically completely stock, but it is the absolutely beautiful white full leather interior. It is so sick. The back seats even are full white leather, and as you guys can tell, this has the carbon fiber bucket seat option. That's about a $7,000 option from factory, and I'm so glad this car came with it. I've been looking for one with carbon bucket seats since I sold my M340i 6 months ago. The car also came with the factory gloss black wheels. They're actually staggered, so the rear is a 20 and the front is a 19. These gloss black wheels look absolutely sick, and we are on some Pilot Sport all-season tires, so these should be great for us to drive this thing all year round without any issues. It does have the option red brakes. You could option them in black, blue, or red, so this one did get the red brakes, which I'm a big fan of, and it looks absolutely sick with that wheel combo and the satin paint. On the rear, there's absolutely no mods. This is completely stock. The only thing obviously is the paint protection film that makes the whole car matte, but this is a completely stock rear end, stock gloss black diffuser, stock gloss black side skirts, which I think I want to replace, but I'm kind of thinking about whiting everything out and doing a full whiteout package on the car. Let me know what you guys think down below. Should I do all the trim white? I've seen a couple cars do that, and especially in the truck scene, they do that a lot where they do full whiteout package, and I think it looks sick. So I could either do that, or I could do a full carbon kit and we do side skirts and the rear diffuser to match the front, but let me know what you guys think down below. So that is it. That is my G80 M3 xDrive with carbon bucket seats, and I am so hyped on this thing. It looks absolutely so sick, and I'm so excited to get modding this thing. So let me know down below what mods you guys want to see. Should we do a giant single turbo, or should we keep this a street car? Maybe get some coilovers so we can lower it even more. Let me know what you guys think down below. But these things have so many options. There's so many different build paths that we could take to make this thing even better than it already is. All right, now that you guys have seen the car, let's go ahead and pull it into the garage, and I'm going to do a couple of our very first small mods to the G80 M3, and then we'll take this thing out on the street and get some beauty shots of it so you guys can really check this thing out under the Utah sun. All right, guys, we got this thing pulled in the shop. It's a little bit of a tight fit with the Supra in here, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and open up the hood, and I can explain to you guys that don't know what a powerhouse engine is inside of this thing. These are absolutely legendary motors. This is the S58 motor from BMW. It is an updated, tuned, and built version of the B58 that I had in my M340i, and that is in Kai's Supra. This is a super powerful motor, and they can handle so much aftermarket mods. It is insane. So this from factory is just over 500 horsepower. It is a 3-liter inline 6 with twin turbos. As you can see, both the intakes right here, one goes to one turbo, one goes to the other, and then this thing is actually all-wheel drive. That is what the xDrive package means, is that it has all-wheel drive. So it has a transfer case, front drive shaft, front diff, and axles that power the front wheels. But what's special about these M3 all-wheel drive systems is that you can actually select rear-wheel drive mode from your steering wheel. So this can go completely rear-wheel drive and 100% power to the rear wheels with the push of a button, which is absolutely so much fun with 500 horsepower in this thing. It also has the ZF 8-speed transmission. That is a paddle shifted automatic transmission, but these things are so stout. I've had a ton of different BMW transmissions in the past, everything from 6-speed auto, 6-speed manual, 7-speed DCT, and 8-speed all-wheel drive that I had in my M340, and now this. And the all-wheel drive system in these cars is absolutely amazing. I used to hate on automatic transes, but honestly, this automatic trans takes all of that off the table because it is such an amazing transmission. They shift so fast and so direct, and there's so many gears. You always have power no matter what speed you're going. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about what few mods we're going to be doing in today's video to the G80. So right here, we have a couple different items that we're going to be installing. First one is actually the OEM xDrive badge. This came with the car, and the previous owner did not have the wrap shop reinstall this when they did the satin. I'm actually going to reinstall this mostly because it's about a $7,000 difference between a non-xDrive and an xDrive car. I do want to have this on there just as a little flex that this thing is xDrive. It is a little bit windy outside, so sorry about that if you guys can hear the wind noise. But right here we have a adapter for my radar detector to hardwire it into the car. So I'll show you guys how to install this in 1 second. And then right here, we actually have some leather bolster protectors. So I'll go ahead and show you guys where these go right now. So if we take this over here, you guys can see this seat right here and this side bolster. It's actually in fairly good condition and there's not a ton of damage, just a little bit of marking getting in and out of the car, which is actually to be expected because if you guys take a look, this side bolster is so high off of the seat that you pretty much have to climb over this every time you get in and out. So if you wear jeans or anything like that, you can damage this side bolster. So our solution to that is this cover right here. Let me go ahead and put this on. So this side bolster cover just goes right over the side and it is in a matching white leather with the black leather and the matching suede on the inside. So we can just go ahead and install this with the Velcro that's included, and it will actually protect the seat every time you get in and out of it, and you basically can't even tell it's there as soon as you step back. So that is a super awesome mod. Go ahead and link these down below because these will protect your seats and they come in all the different leather combinations for the carbon bucket seats, and it's totally worth it. I think they're about 150 bucks, and that is going to save thousands of dollars in leather repair later. And moving over to the passenger side, go ahead and get this installed. And just like that, we have our carbon fiber bucket seats completely protected from anyone who doesn't know about these side bolsters getting in and out and wrecking the leather on both sides. So that's super great and a super quick and easy mod. Let's go ahead and move on to doing the hardwire for the dash cam. All right, guys, as you can tell, I have this dash cam right here that's just suction cupped to the windshield, and I'm actually using the cigarette lighter down here in the cup holder area. So there is actually an issue with this specific adapter for my radar detector and this cigarette lighter right here. When I put it in, it will power up and it'll turn on, but I'll show you guys in 1 second. If I touch this thing at all, it will power off. It just barely makes a connection, and if you put a drink in here, put your phone in here, anything like that, the second you bump this, it turns off. So it's powered up now. And if I just slightly touch it, it completely powers off. So that's an issue. If I'm driving quickly and I don't realize that this thing has powered off, I can be running without a radar detector. So I want to get this out of here also to declutter this area. So we're going to be tapping into the mirror up here with a power tap in order to get power to this radar detector right there. I bought these on Amazon. They're about 10 bucks for a pack of 3, and we can go ahead and tap these into the wiring harness for the mirror because it does have power, and it only turns on when the power to the car is turned on, or when the ignition power to the car is turned on. So this should be a super easy install. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some pry tools. We'll disassemble this mirror right here, and we'll get this power tap in there. All right, guys, the first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and take out the stock radar detector plug, and what we're actually gonna need to do is separate this trim right here. So I'm going to take a trim removal tool, trying my best to not damage this part of the trim, and we're going to try and separate the mirror cover in order to get access to the plugs back behind the mirror. So these two pieces of the clamshell basically separate apart. They're connected by some small clips in the middle and a couple of clips on the side as well. I'm gonna go ahead and take my radar detector down for just a little bit so I can go ahead and try and get a trim removal tool in between these two pieces. Slowly keep separating this, trying to make sure I'm not breaking any of the clips. I'm just getting this thing fully separated from itself. Well, there we go. So that popped off, and this will pop off that side. Luckily, it does look like we didn't break any of these 4 center clips, and then it has these side ones right here. These two that snap into that section up there. So basically, all we're gonna do is tap into this main black plug right here. I'm gonna get this power tap in there, and then I'll give you guys a close-up of what wires I went ahead and tapped. All right, guys, so I got those taps in. Now I'm just gonna get this plug back into the mirror, and then we can go ahead and power on the car and plug in the radar detector and make sure everything works before we put the trim back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and power up the car. All right, guys, as soon as I powered up the car, this thing powered up, and it will actually stay on for about 5 minutes after I turn the car off before it completely powers down, which I think is awesome. But if you guys take a look up here, you can see this black connector, and it's actually into the brown wire on the far left and the red wire on the far right. So those two are tapped in, and it's providing adequate power without any issues. It's on a factory fuse, so that is awesome. So we now have a radar detector. This whole area is cleared, so I can go ahead and close close the carbon fiber trim cover for the cup holders. We have no wires dangling or anything like that. So I think this is super awesome and it worked out really well. And like I said, these connector kits are about 10 bucks on Amazon and they are awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw one zip tie up in here on this actual plug so that if this radar detector ever falls off, which does happen sometimes when you leave the car in the sun and things like that, it's not gonna put any tension on this and pull out the tabs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get one small zip tie, put it up here, and then we'll get the trim covers back on. All right, guys, now that we have that zip tie on, we can go ahead and just throw this cover right back on. This actually will snap in place with only one side in because it does hold into these connectors there. So we can put on the left side first, and then we'll go ahead and put on the right side. And just try and make sure everything's lined up and that these clips are slipping into place all the way across this entire piece. All right, guys, just like that, we have this piece fully reinstalled. We can go ahead and readjust our mirror here, and we are good to go. This will power on when the car turns on, and it will turn off a few minutes after the car turns off. So let's go ahead and move on to our final mods. All right, guys, one thing that has absolutely bugged me since the day I got this car, but I'm glad it is on here because it has kept it in good condition, but this blue covering for these side seals right here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off. You know, I don't feel like it's really my car if I still have any of the covers on, and I'm saving it for the next guy. So I think we are gonna go ahead and pull these off, and I think it should look a lot better. Just like that, as you guys can see, this whole thing is now perfectly exposed and it looks amazing. But if you do keep these on there for too long, they will start to melt, and they actually do adhere to whatever these are protecting, and they no longer protect it and become kind of like a glued on sticker that is impossible to get off. We're gonna do the same thing over on the driver's side. Go ahead and peel this off and really make it feel like it's officially my car. All right, guys, our final mod, that's not really a mod, is going to be installing the xDrive badge back on the rear of this car. Because I didn't take it off, I don't really have a template, so I'm gonna kind of guess. I've looked at some pictures of some other cars, and hopefully this turns out okay. If not, we can always peel it off in the future and realign it. So let me go ahead and peel the double stick tape. So from what I've seen online, the end of the badge lines up just about with the end of the reverse light right here. So let's see if we can't put this on and it look decent. I'm just gonna lightly stick that there, take a step back, see how that looks. A little crooked. Let me readjust this side up just barely. I actually think it needs to come in just a little bit, but that level does look pretty good. So let me go ahead and move it in just a little bit. So I do actually think it needs to go up just slightly. Looked at a couple more pictures. I think right about here, probably where we need to be. Yeah, that is actually looking right about factory. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick that on. So I looked at a couple more pictures, and I think it is a slightly left, something like that. Maybe a little bit more to the right. That does look pretty good to me. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and push that on. Stick there, get that double side stuck, and that is looking good. So like I said, this is about a $7,000 price difference for just this badge alone, having xDrive versus not. And I do want to kind of show off that this is an all-wheel drive car. I do take this up the canyons, and there are some times where the officers are checking, is your car all-wheel drive or do you have chains? And this is a really easy way for them to know that this car is all-wheel drive. All right, guys, that is pretty much going to do it for the mods on the G80 M3 for now. Like I said, we have a ton of plans, and I want your guys' feedback on what we should do to the G80 M3 just to spice it up a little bit. But I want to go ahead and take this thing out and get some shots for you guys of this thing out in one of the Utah canyons. The fall colors are really popping off right now, but the weather outside has taken a little bit of a turn for the worse. So you guys can see we got some storm clouds rolling in. I'm gonna try and get out there before it rains and we get this thing completely dirty because it is perfectly detailed right now. So let's go ahead and hop in the car real quick and we will take this thing out on a drive and show you guys what it looks like out on the road. All right, guys, I'm gonna clean up the shop real quick and we'll head out. So one thing I didn't mention is that this car actually has iDrive 8, and that is one of the main upgrades other than being faster and being wider than my M340i, is that this massive screen that goes all the way across and has all of your displays here and has all of your information and everything you need to know over here. This is a super amazing upgrade. Some people hate it, but I actually love it. I think the screens are so sick. And if I push the mode button right here and switch over into sport, so you guys can see this display reduces down, gives you a big rev counter, gives you your gear right in the middle and all of your temps. It's honestly so sick the way this screen can be customized and this screen over here. I honestly am in love with iDrive 8 and I'm so glad I upgraded from iDrive 7 in my M340i to iDrive 8 in the G80 because it makes a huge difference to the driving dynamics. But let's go ahead and head out. We're gonna head up the canyon and get some shots of this thing in the fall colors. So as you guys can see, we're driving around in D mode, which is basically just the automatic mode. And from the push of a button, I can actually put this thing in sport and turn it into a manual paddle shifted trans, and that is my M1 mode. It's still all-wheel drive, but it has a little bit sportier response and it's in manual. If I click this again, it will go right back into my comfort settings, drive and comfort everything. And if I actually push this one right here, it says I need to push it again because this goes full traction off. And as you guys can see right down there on the bottom of the dash, it says 2-wheel drive. So this thing is completely rear-wheel drive with no traction control, and it handles absolutely insane when you put it in this mode. It will spin the tires all the way through third gear, but it is so much fun. All right, guys, we got a huge storm cloud over there. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the weather is definitely taking a turn for the worse. So we're gonna try and get there as quick as we can and get some shots of this thing outside. But if it starts raining, I'll get some shots anyway. Let's go ahead and try and get there as quick as we can. All right, guys, we made it into the canyon, but as you guys can see, that cloud cover is coming super hard. So we need to quickly try and get to a spot so we can get some exterior shots of this car. Alright guys, we made it up into the canyon with the new G80 M3. It definitely feels like it is about to rain, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. But I am so hyped on this new car. I can't believe that this is mine. So thank you guys so much who have been watching the channel for a while, supporting the videos, because this would not be possible without you guys. So hyped on this thing, and I'm so excited to see what we do to it. Out here filming, and who is that? Highway Patrol. Well guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you guys like the G80 and wanna see more mods, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe down below so you don't miss the next video on the G80. But just like that, this one's over. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.